Prince Harry urged to speak up and defend his family as Americans mock George. Prince Harry has been urged to speak up over an HBO cartoon mocking Prince George. Prince George, 8 years old, is the main character of a derisive cartoon called The Prince, which pokes fun at the royal family. Now, Princess Diana's former butler has called on the Duke of Sussex to back his nephew, rather than seeing the funny side of the HBO cartoon. Paul Burrell said he was disappointed in Harry after the Duke has not spoken out against the cartoon depiction of his nephew. Diana's former butler said he thinks the HBO cartoon could be extremely damaging as it targets a young boy and mocks him. He said, "It seems ironic to me that while Meghan and Harry are happy to lend their voices to supporting mental health charities, they can't seem to speak up and defend their family. I've seen The Prince and it's extremely damaging to target a young boy and mock him in the way the cartoonists have done." In an interview with Closer magazine, Mr. Burrell noted the Duke was said to have had a sense of humor about the HBO show. Gary Janetti, creator of The Prince, said on Watch What Happens Live with Andy Cohen earlier in August Harry appeared to have taken the cartoon as a joke. Mr. Burrell added to Closer magazine it were Archie and Lilibet being mocked, legal action would have followed. Archie does feature in the HBO cartoon, as does Princess Charlotte and Prince Louis. The HBO original features former Downton Abbey actor Dan Stevens, Orlando Bloom as Harry and Sophie Turner as Charlotte. Mr. Bloom, reportedly close with the Sussex royals, admitted previously he was wary of accepting the role. He then added Mr. Janetti was presenting the series in a very affectionate and witty way. Mr. Bloom said, "I don't know if you've seen Gary's Instagram but he's incredibly funny and has a very affectionate and witty way of commenting on the royal family." Several critics have skewered the show, saying Prince William and Kate Middleton's 8-year-old son should have been off-limits. Royal author Omid Scobie wrote on Twitter, "Don't particularly agree with parodying children but guessing I'm in the minority as Max's No F Given series #The Prince hits the streamer tomorrow. Thoughts?" In a second tweet he shared the messages of a few social media users agreeing with his take on the show. One wrote, "Kids should be off-limits." Following the death of Prince Philip on April 9, the HBO show was delayed. A representative from HBO Max said, "We were saddened to learn of Prince Philip's passing and will adjust plans for the series debut. A new date will be announced at a later time." The show depicts the late Duke of Edinburgh as barely alive, having to be recharged overnight and force-fed by his royal relatives. Royal expert Rebecca English told Mail Plus Palace Confidential, "There's quite a bit of disgust at the inclusion of Prince Philip. Now I should stress that this program was made before Prince Philip sadly died in April and actually its airing was pushed back because of that, but they still included the character of Prince Philip, presumably because they felt it was too difficult to edit out. In hindsight, it's quite distasteful. It's a lot of jokes about his imminent demise and his ill health and there's a lot of people who feel quite angry and uncomfortable about that." character of Prince Philip, presumably because they felt it was too difficult to edit out. In hindsight, it's quite distasteful. It's a lot of jokes about his imminent demise and his ill health, and there's a lot of people who feel quite angry and uncomfortable about that.